Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contract, service is month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today is a very special episode. So I have Jonathan Hurtado on the line, and he is the creator of and the founder of Beautiful Creations with Jonathan. First off, Jonathan, welcome. It's so good to have you on the show.
Hi.
So for the listeners, Jonathan, how old are you? Let's start there because I want everybody to know, because this is a great episode. You started a great business, but I want everybody to know that everybody can start businesses. So how old are you?
I'm 9.
So you're 9 years old. So I was talking to your Uncle Derek the other day, and I told him, I said, he was telling me about your business, and he told me how you're doing, and I was just amazed by the story, and I said, I want Jonathan on my show. So first off, how did you, let's talk a little bit more about what you're doing over at Beautiful Creations with Jonathan. So tell us about your business. What do you do?
I do art on rock.
So art on rocks. So you're painting on rocks, correct?
Yeah.
And so how are you selling these rocks?
I sell the rock, and then people donate me money so I could buy something for my wish list, and then I give them a personalized rock.
That's awesome. I love it. How many rocks, and you might not have the exact number, but how many rocks have you painted so far?
20.
Wow, that's awesome. I love it. I was talking to, and so tell us, why do you like painting on these rocks? Because I think it's really cool what you're doing.
Because I like absorbing the world and painting on something.
That's awesome. And so so Jonathan, so your Uncle Derek, he told me, he says, you know what, people are buying these rocks, and I think you do, so it's on Facebook. Is that where you sell a lot of the rocks when you put up the posts, or is that how it works? Tell us a little bit more there.
Yeah, we put them on the Facebook market.
And so you put them on the Facebook market. So you put up a post on Facebook market, and you say that you paint custom rocks, and then people contact you, right? Or they say they want you to do a rock. Yes?
Yeah.
So it's that simple, right?
Mhm.
I love it. And this is, and I wanted people to understand that, because you may not know this now, but this is a little bit of a lesson from you. I'm a little bit older than you, than 9, is that sometimes there's some people right now listening that they make things really complicated. So they add all these other barriers or hurdles, or they just put these roadblocks, these things in front of them but business can be that simple. So let's think about what you're doing. So you have a skill. You like to paint rocks. Yes, you like to paint rocks, right?
Mhm.
So you have a skill. You like to paint rocks. So what you did was you said, hey, I know how to paint rocks. I like to paint rocks. Does anybody want, you put up a post on the Facebook market, and you said, does anybody want to paint me to paint a rock for them? And, and then they can make a donation, or they can pay me to paint the rock. Yes, that's what you did?
Yeah.
And so now what happened when you did that was there were some people that said they wanted you to paint rocks for them, right? So now you have customers, right?
Mhm.
And so now you have a customer,
And so the next step in this is they say, yes, I want you to paint me rocks, and then they tell you what kind of rocks they want you to paint or what images, right?
And then they start sending me stuff on Amazon.
Wow, you're already on Amazon. I didn't even know you were already on Amazon. You went from Facebook to Amazon already. So now you tested it. So the I guess the term, it's a technical term, and you don't need to know this. The people listening, some of them know it, some don't, but you don't need to know. It's product market fit. So you didn't know when you put out that post. You didn't know if somebody was going to give you money and say, hey, I want you to paint rocks for me. Like, you didn't know that. It's impossible, right? You couldn't know that.
Yeah.
But what happened is you did the post, you put it out there, and then what happened is that somebody comes back and they say, yeah, I want you to paint a rock for me, or rocks. And then what happens? They said that they'd pay you, right?
Mhm.
So now you get you paint the rock for them. And just to give an example, what kind of rock have you painted so far, or like what kind of image have you painted on a rock so far? Just to give the listeners an example, because maybe they want some rocks painted too.
I made a baby, a mermaid, an owl. I made colleges.
Wow, what is your favorite rock that you've painted so far?
Probably the baby.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Okay, so now you have your body of work, we'll call it. So just think about it as now you have rocks that you've painted and that you've given to and that you've sold because people paid you for it. So now it's as simple as this. They pay you, you send them the rock, and then you decide if you want to keep on painting rocks, right? Because it's a business. You know that there's a certain amount of people that are going to give you money to paint rocks. You like painting rocks, and you get to decide if you want to do it or not, right?
Yeah.
So that's so exciting. So business can be that simple. Like, it can really be that simple, is you get to decide what you want to do. You get to decide what kind of talent you have in the marketplace, or just in general, what you want to do. And if somebody wants to pay you for that, that could be something that you do going forward. So let's talk a little bit more about because your Uncle Derek told me a little bit more about like how you are using the money. And I thought that was really interesting, and I thought it was really smart. So tell us a little bit more about how you're using the money, like what you're doing with it, all these earnings that you're bringing in.
I'm saving it for Nintendo Switch.
So now you get to use the money and you get to save it and you get to buy things that you want. And I think that's an important thing to think about. And the other thing that Derek told me that you were doing was that you're also putting away some of it because you have to buy more supplies, right?
Yep.
So you have to buy more paint. I don't think you have to buy rocks. You get to just go outside and get those, right?
We have to buy them because we don't get any good rocks in this neighborhood.
Oh, so you do have to buy the rocks. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know the rock market. I'm sorry, Jonathan. I'm learning here too. So you're teaching me. So now you also had to put away some of that money because you had to buy more supplies because you want to sell more rocks, right?
Yeah.
And so what's the next step for you? So now you said you bought some things that were on your wish list, right? And so now I think you said the next goal that you want is to get a Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
And so now you're also learning something else. It's saying that, it's okay to enjoy some of the outcome of your work, right? It wasn't easy to paint those rocks. That took a lot of time, right?
Mhm.
So now you spent all that time painting your rocks. Now you get to go have some fun too and get a Nintendo if you sell enough of them, yeah?
Mhm.
That's awesome. This is exciting. So Jonathan, what's the next steps for you? What do you want to do next with this business? And you may not know, by the way. So what are your plans going forward for this business, if you have made any yet?
Probably save it on a account and put it on a card and then keep it waiting so I could get the little bit payments.
That's awesome. And so do you think you'll continue to do the business? Can you see yourself painting rocks and selling more in the future? I mean, do you think you want to keep painting rocks? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I want to keep painting rocks and take it to a whole nother level in the future.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. That's awesome, Jonathan. Man, you're a rock star.
I also even want to go to art school.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So now you want to even also improve your skills too. So that's awesome. These are all things that people do to get better in business and to grow their business. So I love it. I think what you're doing is amazing. Jonathan, if somebody is listening to this and they want to learn more about your rocks, I mean, what's the best way? How do they do that? Do they go to your Facebook or like how the marketplace? Like how does somebody find out how to find your rocks?
The marketplace has a lot of people on it.
Got it. So what is there a if they type in beautiful creations, will it come up or how does somebody find it? I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Jonathan. I'll make sure. Okay, and I'm going to make sure I'll make sure that in the show notes that we get the link to your Facebook to the Facebook Marketplace post, or maybe we'll you'll have a post up there, and we'll try to get a way so that to make sure that people can go find your rocks. Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's awesome. Well, hey, Jonathan, really appreciate you coming on the show, and one of the reasons I want to bring you on the show is because we can all learn. We can learn from 9-year-olds. We can learn from adults. I think what you're doing is amazing. I think your rock business is amazing. Beautiful Creations with Jonathan, and I love to see young entrepreneurs getting out there and doing it. And keep on, and wishing you much continued success. So thanks again for coming on the show, Jonathan.
You're welcome.